1 year ago, Roblox presented us with The Hunt First Edition, a return of non-sponsored events ever since the Metaverse Champions back in 2021. Being a huge success, The Hunt would later become the base for almost every other event later throughout the year. While it was pretty decent, there were indeed improvements that could be done on some of the issues. So it was definitely a surprise when Roblox posted a teaser for The Hunt sequel in the late February of this year, named The Hunt Mega Edition. But how better was it than the previous events? Let's find out. The Hunt Mega Edition, starting from March 13 until March 24, acts as a sequel to The Hunt from last year. Immediately off the bat, a lot of people got interested because this was like the first modern Roblox event to receive a sequel. More teasers were getting posted as the start of the event got closer, and so were the theories. An event page was set up days later, showing the real truth of the event. Instead of the dreadful 100 games endured last year, there's now only 25. This isn't really a shock, as we've seen the past events having small number of games due to feedback from the first edition. But aside of that, and the regular trope of having a gold track alongside a normal track for the event items, there's something else. The Hunt Mega Final is a live stream event that brings the top 10 eligible winners of the Hunt Mega Edition to the Roblox HQ to compete against one another for the grand prize of $1 million. So, not only are we getting another Ready Player One style event, but one of the top people in the leaderboard will be flown over to Roblox HQ itself with 9 other people just for a chance to get $1 million briefcase? You know what that means? Cyberbullying! Okay, but seriously, unless they decide to censor little Timmy's face for the entire Mega Final, which will be fucking hilarious to watch, your face is basically shown on there, making it a free advertisement for possibly harassment and even doxing. That wouldn't be a surprise. As of writing this, the Mega Final still hasn't happened, so we don't really know what to expect, but I'll try to do a follow-up video on it on how it went.
Hey, Future Leaf here. So, seems like the Mega Final already happened. They already got a winner and, all that stuff. I'll probably still cover it in another video, but yeah, just thought I want to say that. Okay, back to the thing.
Anyway, let's see how the event turned out. Comparing it with the first edition hub from last year, there isn't really much difference. It has the same aesthetics as the one last year. Hexagonal landscapes under a dark blue skybox. They definitely just reuse some of the assets, but whatever. It's supposed to be a sequel of the first edition anyway. Nothing special, but it does the job. You can tell it is noticeably smaller than the current one due to the huge decrease in the number of games. It's not my favorite hub out of the recent events, as I would go to either the Classic or the Haunt, but still not bad. The items this time around were interesting. Roblox went with a blank and noir? However you say this, with the regular track having the blank lineup and the gold track having the noir lineup. Some of these look genuinely pretty cool. I especially really like the models of the visor and the wings. While I did love some of the items from the first edition last year, and still do to some extent, these ones are just superbly better than them. Couple days after the event started, Roblox randomly decided to replace the old tracks with new ones, and oh my god, I love these. While they're basically just retested of the same model, they still look cool as fuck. Look at how bare the visor, wings, and antlers look. Even the weird mantle shoulder pad thing. But then again, I have a bias for the color blue. Just like the first edition, the games in the Mega Edition don't really follow a theme, not that there was one to base off. Most of them just do their own thing. And while a lot of them were just play the game for X amount of duration, there were definitely some highlights. Games like Tower Defense Simulator, Pressure, Untitled Boxing Game, and Bayside High School created special integrations for the event that I really like. Since it was a race to the top, people quickly got all the 25 of the tokens for the event, a currency that can be exchanged for the event items in the track. Everything was going fine until something was discovered. In one of the participating games, SpongeBob Tower Defense, you can find diggable patches of sand on the event map. Once you found the right spot, a treasure map will be dug out, pointing you to Flying Dutchman's ship, where he will tell you about a hidden treasure inside the ship's quarters. After unlocking the secret door and going through a very annoying maze, a long, tedious tower defense run will begin. At the end of the battle, you'll be able to read another treasure map, points to a cave in the event map. So, following the map's tracks leads you to the Uncharted cave, where reaching the end grants you a Mega Token? What's a Mega Token? Returning to the Hunt's hub after getting this thing shows you something new. So, it turns out there was truly more to the event than what meets the eye. Other than the regular token you can collect from the games, there's also a mega token hidden inside all of them. Now, at the start of the event, this wasn't really clear to everyone. Some thought only a couple games have this secret token, only for it to become apparent later on. Anyway, welcome to the Orb Zone, an area full of swirling and spiral lines with floating shapes and bricks scattered around the sky. At this point, you will have unlocked a new event track called the Mega Track, full of 5 new items to collect, along with their gold variant. Unlike the regular event track, this one doesn't accept regular tokens. No, my friend. You'll need to exchange mega tokens to get these items, which I'll be talking about later on. Once people had found the first mega token, the real race was on. They quickly began to figure out which games could contain one. SpongeBob Tower Defense was found to be holding the first mega token thanks to a tweet by Roblox one day before the event started. I have a net piled up in wholeheartedness. Sounds like a whole pile of gibberish, right? Not really. If you change the location of the letters around, you get the phrase, "Who lives in the pineapple under the sea?" which is obviously a nod to SpongeBob. Put 2 and 2 together and SpongeBob Tower Defense starts to become a bit suspicious. And yeah, they were right. So after the first hint, the search was on for more possible hints, and one was indeed found. In the Orb Zone, on one of the walls, you can find a painted graffiti, alluding to the next game. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, the mega tokens have to be collected in chronological order. You are unable to progress if you try skipping a mega token for a previous game in the order. It got mixed opinions tossed around, but I personally don't mind the idea of it. Anyway, back to the graffiti. If you were to do some awesome googling thanks to the power of the internet, you will find that this specific type of graffiti is called a tag. Of course, connect the dots and Untitled Tag Game is revealed to contain the second mega token. After basically running away from a cyberpunk city chase with the thing, the next game hint reveals itself in the Orb Zone. On the side of these stairs, you can find an old radio playing a sequence of Morse code. Translating the code gives you lead van, leading to the lead van zone, the area where pressure takes place, thus revealing it to contain the third mega token. Collecting all 3 mega tokens and returning to the Orb Zone now allows you to attempt the puzzle challenge. Yes, at the end of the zone, there's a puzzle that you have to complete in order to progress to the next one. Each of the puzzles start from expert difficulty, descending to hard, and finally easy, all within 1 day of each other, making it simpler for more people. In turn that you get to progress on a much slower rate than other people who've done it on a higher difficulty. In the Orb Zone puzzle, you have to push and move blue blocks on top of green highlighted areas. One wrong move and you softlock yourself, forcing to reset the puzzle to give it another go. Beating the puzzle challenge allows you to claim the Node Rabbit Ears, along with the gold version of it if you have the gold track. With the puzzle then, you can walk through the previously locked doors and ascend. The block zone welcomes you with big blocky walls that dissipate as they reach the sky. Not to be confused with another game with big blocky walls. Metal pipes are scattered all around the zone and colorful body of paints that you can swim through to explore around the area. At a certain point of exploration, you will be blocked by an invisible wall, requiring 4 new mega tokens to progress through. Like the Orb Zones, 4 hints for 4 new games with mega tokens will start to appear. This was the point where people started to realize that each zone will be bigger than the one before, requiring 1 more mega token than the last zone. The first hint is a string of different emojis in a math equation. By referring to the lengths of the objects in the emojis, horse being 8 feet, foot being 1 foot, etc., and putting them in the math equation, you get the number 66, which when finding a unit that's 66 feet long, you get chain. This means that chain, the 2-player obby, houses the 4th mega token. Just want to say that whoever made this hint was awesome as hell. I think it's really good. This token was a bit annoying because you needed another player who has gotten Pressure's mega token. And at the time, Pressure was sort of a brick wall to a lot of people due to its difficulty. Nerfs were put days later after the mega token was discovered. But other than that, needing another person for the chain token was still mildly annoying. Moving on, after chain, a chessboard will appear in one of the red paint areas with preposition pieces. Looking up the specific position of the pieces will give you the 16 game between chess grandmasters Anatoly Karpov and Garry Kasparov, who were 2 rivals. This leads to rivals being the next game. However, it seemed like everyone was stuck with the hint for hours, leading Roblox to tweet out its second hint on Twitter. It was a great game between 2 blank, with filling the blank spots easily giving you rivals. After getting the Rivals Mega Token, which I personally dislike but not related to me being bad at shooter games in general, shut up! After going through a green pipe, a new hint appears on the wall, being someone dancing with a coat. You'll never solve this one. Well, there's only really two possible games out of the hint, being either Clip It or It Girl. Some exploration later, and Clip It was revealed to be the next game, due to a new UI popping up after you revisit the game having the Rivals token unlocked. After the debatably easiest Mega Token quest ever, the last hint in the block zone appears near the block off area. It's a 12-line riddle that, when analyzed, describes the different worlds in World 0 as of the event, from World 1 to 10, therefore confirming World 0 as the 7th Mega Token game. The puzzle challenge in this zone is another kind of a push puzzle, but instead of pushing blocks one unit each time to on top of green areas, pushing these colored blocks will make them slide until they hit the stopping point, like a wall or a floor drain that will remove the block entirely. Beating this puzzle will grant you the Node Armor Pauldrons, along with its gold variant. And now, we ascend. The next one on the list is the Tile Zone, with black cubes floating in the air in varying sizes. Black pathways stretch into a dark maze where you must travel to reach the next puzzle, which glows when in contact. A large amount of hints for the next few Mega Tokens are scattered around the maze, with the first one being at the left side near the entrance. Zero Labs is a recurring company found in many games created by Jandel, with the most notable one being Field Trip Z, a game that shares the same universe as the Dusty Trip, making it the 8th game with a Mega Token. Once you beat a mech in a boss battle, the next scene appears in the Tile Zone. Near the center of the maze, on the central pillar, is a ciphertext. Plopping it into a Caesar cipher will give you the following phrase: "With endless love, which left you sleeping, now we're sleeping with you, don't wake up." This is a code written on a note from the movie 28 Days Later, which is a zombie survival film. This means that the next game could be either Infection Gunfight or Tower Defense Simulator. However, it was quickly found out that a hidden pair of goggles can be found in Infection Gunfight, making it the next Mega Token game. Now, before I move on to the next scene, I want to briefly talk about the Infection Gunfight Mega Token. After picking up the goggles mentioned earlier, you will start seeing letters pop up around players. To get the Mega Token in this game, you need to shoot out letters from the zombies, or as a zombie, hit survivors with a letter, and spell out Mega Hunt. While on the surface it doesn't sound that bad, this token quest made literally everyone and their grandma bash on the Infection Gunfight devs. I'd say more than pressure got for this Mega Token quest. The problems with this one was that if someone in the round were to successfully spell out Mega Hunt, everyone else who were still in progress would get it resetted, prompting them to find the letter M all over again. To add salt to injury, you have to spell out the phrase before the game switches to another map, meaning you only have 5 rounds that last like 3 minutes each to get all the letters. Tons of people expressed how they hated the quest, and while I think that's fine, criticism is expected after all. Doing a massive raid on their Discord server and sending pure hate and death threats are not normal. I don't think I have to explain why. One of the server managers came back to the hate, telling them to just do something better in life, which didn't resonate well with other people, igniting the flames even more. Personally, yes, I did hate the Mega Token quest in this game. In fact, I never want to see this game in another event again from how long I was stuck here. But saying that, I wouldn't go out of my way to harass the game developers themselves. I'm sure some things slipped through testing, or they never noticed this giant traction the event will bring to the game. Either way, the quest was nerfed later on, making you only have to spell Mega. Back in the zone, a new hint appears to the right of the entrance of the maze, showing 3 different pictures: the sky, a bird, and a magician with a hat. I don't think there was a real consensus on what the sky and the magician's hat images mean, but it was agreed upon that the bird image is hinting at Larry Bird, a professional basketball player. From what I've seen, the sky image alludes to Air Jordans, a famous basketball shoe brand, and the magician's hat pointing to Magic Johnson, another professional basketball player. Obviously, all 3 of the images point to basketball, meaning Basketball Legends contains the next Mega Token. The next game hint is at the end of the dark maze, being a crossword puzzle on the side of a wall. There's 18 different words hidden in the crossword, each being at least 5 letters long. Highlighting all the words and yeah, you don't really get anything from that. But if you pick up the letters that clash between 2 different words, you can spell out Metro Life, thus making it the next game. The last game hint for the time zone is located right after the entrance, shaping like a tic-tac-toe game with 3 blue circles on top. This is one of my favorite hints throughout the event. Flipping the hint upside down gives you a very rough layout of the maze, with the hints of the other games can be plotted down in the squares. Going to the circle positions and jumping reveals 3 scrambled taxes. If you put the taxes side by side and lay over the blue circles, certain digits are highlighted. Putting the digits together and you get a string of coordinates, which when plotted into Google Maps will lead you into a neighborhood in Manhattan, New York called Hell's Kitchen, making it the 12th Mega Token game on the hunt. After getting the 5 new Mega Tokens and reaching the end of the maze, you can attempt the puzzle challenge in the tile zone, being of course a classic tile puzzle. Beating the puzzle gives you the corrupt TV, with its gold thread variant being the Mecha of Mr. Robot, both being futuristic takes on classic items, which is pretty cool to see. Opening the doors, you ascend to the next level. One of my favorite zones from the event, the Beam Zone, gives a whole different vibe than the previous 3 as the white glow of the sun starts to set. The walls are built of giant blocks of studs and stones, with neon blue checker patterns can be seen throughout the area. Beams of neon blue lights and parts light up your path as you traverse up near the end of the zone, requiring 6 new Mega Tokens to pass through. The first hint is right outside the entrance on the left, on top of the giant neon blue Roblox logo. Looking at it, it just looks like what you would type if you fell asleep on the keyboard. Putting the text into a Playfair cipher will give you the phrase Piccadilly last departure for Heathrow 2256. Using the Transport for London website, you can view the exact metro station on the Piccadilly line and last departure to Heathrow Terminal 4 at 2256. This metro station is the Arsenal Underground Station, confirming Arsenal as the first game in the Beam Zone with a Mega Token. After going through a series of battles in an RPG-like side quest, if you didn't get soft locked numerous times, the next hint appears on the left side of the map. Here you can see the sea face, most infamous for being created during the 2012 April Fool's hacking incident on Roblox. This face was created during the breach and was given to only one person, being Stickmaster Luke, one of the most well-known Roblox admins and creators, and also responsible for creating Natural Disaster Survival, which hides the next Mega Token. On the right side of the zone, after getting the NDS Mega Token, are 3 strings of taxes. This leads to a specific comic issue, Fantastic Four, issue number 48 by Marvel, The Coming of Galactus, which costs 12 cents. At the end of the comic, Galactus says that he'll consume the world, paraphrasing what he said, and it's clear that Eat the World is the next game. Down a set of glowing ladders is a GIF of a passenger card. The GIF shows the passenger card getting compressed in quality, or in other words, bit crush. Putting 2 and 2 together, and you quickly see that Car Crushers 2 has the next Mega Token. Up above on the ceiling is a set of years, 1998, 2002, and 2004. Seems like it may be a trilogy or something. And yeah, it was. All of the years line up with the release years of the Blade movie trilogy, clearly showing that Blade League is next. The last hint in the Beam Zone is just on the side of the path, near the Car Crushers hint. This odd GIF is a recreation of another GIF, which was a scene in the TV sitcom series Saved by the Bell. The show takes place in California's Bayside High School, alluding of course, Bayside High School as the last game in the batch. Now with all 18 Mega Tokens collected, the puzzle challenge in the Beam Zone can be attempted. This time, you have to reflect a beam of light from a light source onto another, using these weird triangular shaped mirrors. For me, this was way easier to figure out than the tile puzzle, as you can pretty much just randomly spin the mirrors around and accidentally beat it. Beating the puzzle will unlock the light edge sword along with its gold variant. This is like the best prize item in the entire event. I love the binary effects on the sword, and the gold variant makes it even better. Sadly, they don't really work as a dual wield back accessory, but they're really cool nonetheless. And now, yet again, we ascend. Welcome to the final puzzle area of the hunt, the Shape Zone. This area is a complete huge shift from the Beam Zone, glowing bright red instead of blue. Weird large circular discs are lodged inside the dark black spiky walls. Shrapnels of lines and blocks are around, reminiscent of the subspace dirt mine gear. Going outside the entrance will greet you with the full moon shining its light in full view, as what it seems like the skybox shattering and spinning around, almost like reality is breaking itself. A fitting final area for a race, need I remind you, for that sweet 1 million moolah. Going through the vortex hole brings you to a second part of the zone, with numerous paths to walk through. The first hint is actually back up the vortex, left to the entrance of the zone. Another radio can be heard playing some sort of music. People quickly reduce the game choices to Regradator, as at that point, while playing the game, blue glowing notes will start to appear. Also, back at the hint, like literally the back of it, you can see 1337 written, meaning lead or lead speak, which one of the Regradator NPCs infected speaks in. After that, most of the hints now are down the vortex, so turning right will give you the next game hint. It seems similar to Chain's hint back at the block zone, with emojis being in a math equation, but no, the same method does not apply here. Kinda. The emojis refer to tarot cards, and replacing the emojis with their corresponding tarot card number will give this equation, which equals 16. The 16th tarot card is the tower, therefore, Tower Defense Simulator is the next game. A string of text will appear once you get the TDS Mega Token hidden within the side of a wall. Right off the bat, people were quick to find out that it was Pet Simulator 99, as turning the text upside down gives you 6070 PS99, meaning go to PS99, and again, let's speak. I have something funny to say about Pet Simulator's Mega Token. Once the hint was first revealed, I quickly jumped into the game trying to look for the token, like anyone. Beat the raid, get the secret key, open the secret door, and then I was stuck. Not just me, basically everyone got stuck in this area. People found out a couple hidden letters that spells out urgent or Gunter. Oh my god, it's actually Ready Player One all over again. Anyway, after hours of just hoverboarding in this stupid bright gold area until I went insane, some people got the Mega Token. Alright, cool. So they're gonna tell us how to get it, right? I think it was over an hour or something after the first few token finders, where everyone were finally figuring the steps out. The smart thing about Pet Simulator when hiding secrets is, if there are hidden clickable things on the map, your cursor doesn't change when hovering over it, so people were clueless wondering if what they click on register or not. Anyway, my complaint, I dreaded through that Mega Token. Back to the shape zone. Near the puzzle challenge on the left, you can see two images of something. These are called nonogram grids. You either fill the grid out, or leave it blank depending on the numbers on the borders. Solving these two nanogram grids give you two images, a car being driven on the road and a picture of the globe. Putting these two together and you get Drive World, confirming it as the next game with a Mega Token. The next hint is hidden in another side of the map on a wall. It's a weird string of text on an old, kinda rusty background. The symbols are actually numbers written in Amharic, a Semitic language spoken in Ethiopia and Eritrea. Turning the numbers to their regular counterparts gives you the Roblox game ID, which leads to Intel the bots in-game, making it the next on the list. This one was actually one of my favorite Mega Token quests ever. The whatever kind of tech that was used in this one was awesome, and I wish more games used it. Not to mention the pretty fun boss fight at the end to top it off. The last two game hints are back up before the second part of the map, with the first one being under the ramp right before entering the vortex. The corrupt TV item can be seen, and seeing as there's only two possible games left, It Girl was picked due to it being a game where you dress your avatar, and the hint being an accessory item. The more exciting part of figuring out the hint is when you look closely at the corrupt TV item itself. If you view its textures, you can see It Girl's logo. And finally, the final hint in the final zone, up near the vortex entrance, it's... yeah. I mean, there's only one obvious game left, but it's funny that they didn't even try with this one. Anyway, once you grab the last 7 Mega Tokens, you can proceed to the final puzzle challenge. In this one, you have to fill out this funky shaped hole with the tetromino pieces given. Beating the last puzzle grants you the Cape of Fragmentation and its gold variant. Behind the unlocked door, you ascend one last time. Finally, after 12 days of continuous non-stop hunting, 25 Mega Token quests later, we finally reached the end, the Mega Zone. From the bottom of the zone, the Roblox logo greets you before a huge flight of stairs. This zone, in some ways, reminds me back of the Ready Player One event after you escape from the Mega Corporation. I guess there are parallels after all. The bright blue sky welcomes you with swirling, translucent lines in the air. After walking up the flight of stairs, you can obtain the grand prize of the event, the Diadem of Resurgence, along with its gold Never mind, you have to pay separately for the gold version. The race to the top officially ended, though for me it ended hours earlier when Pet Simulator was sucking away my life essence. The top 50 players in the event received the Luminary of the Federation, another modern take on a classic item series. Huge congrats to these people. They managed to come up to the top among other sweaty ass people. Unless disqualified later on, they'll be flying on Roblox HQ for the 100th Mega Final on April 4th. Thank you so much for watching. I don't even know how long this video is gonna be, but hopefully it's not over the 30 minutes mark. If you can't tell, I really love this event. I'd say it's the best modern Roblox event we've had so far. The games, the items, the stage zones, and the idea of a hidden layer underneath the event was such a nice idea. I've been saying it a ton, but this really felt like another Ready Player 1 event. I don't think other events like Ready Player 2 or the RB Battle Seasons come close to it. Having the entire Roblox community come together and solve the hints and clues throughout the event felt so sweet, even if there were gatekeepers and whatnot, but that's expected from something as big as this. Oh, and how could I forget? The soundtracks of the entire event are just beautiful, fitting the theme of the zones they're played in. And as you can probably tell, I've been blasting these tracks throughout the entire video. The soundtracks were made by Gaia Light. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Go check her out on Spotify along with other tracks she's made. I absolutely love this event, and while I certainly wouldn't mind another just like, I do not want more like 3 times a year kind of thing. Things like this should be done at most once a year to preserve its specialty. The last thing I want is this event being compared to shit in the future like the classic Part 2 Retro Rumble in Roblox, yeah, you get what I mean. Anyway, here's my tier list ranking of the games if you care, and thank you again for watching. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully about the Mega Final.